Get ready, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for kickoffs and kick-ons.
We're all good. God, Monday, is it? So good to be in.
Is it?
Look at the joy in your face.
3, 2, 1.
Thank you, mate. Yes, welcome to the KOKO Show. Yes, kickoffs and kick-ons. Welcome to each and every one of you listening and watching and just sensing.
What do you mean,
this.
welcome back?
Where were they?
Well, maybe they could be new.
Could be.
Oh, that's true.
Well, let's speak to the masses.
to the
like it.
billions that watch us every week
That's
and the
one.
millions that have just joined us.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. This is the Holy Temple of Rugby with your three clergymen, Adam Ashley Cooper, Drew Mitchell and Matt Giddo. So welcome. Namaste. We have a delicious episode lined up for you today, one where we will walk through all things rugby. We'll get you nice and sated on your ruggers. Listen to this. For you SHLs, an in-depth look at the final round of Superb Rugby, but an even more exciting gaze forward at the Superb Rugby semi-finals. You got that down, Drew?
Spicy,
You got the format down?
tantalising.
Very good. For you NHLs, we have...
Isn't it quarters?
Oh, that's a good point. What are they calling it?
There's
Quarters,
only
you need
6
8
left.
teams.
Yeah. Qualifying finals.
Yeah, there you go.
Tommy still doesn't grasp the idea of don't speak.
You just throw me off, Tommy. Thanks. For all you NHLs, we have European League scores, Lions squad updates, and Japanese League finals. That is exciting.
Some big results.
Massive results. Finally, we Gitz and Drew, you've been doing some extracurricular work, just lifting large for this podcast.
That's all I do.
Oh, no, mate.
No, it was good. It's a great little trip up to Brisbane. I went over the weekend up to Brizzy, thanks to Beta. They took us up there to help us try find a venue, which I think we're getting pretty close to, for a live show on the Thursday night, the 17th, before the Brisbane Test match. We also got to experience a few of the activities of things to do in Brisbane, dine some of the culinary delights. It was it was good.
Did you climb a bridge?
We climbed a bridge, yeah.
Did you jump off it?
The Story Bridge. You know there's only 3 bridge climbs in the world?
And 2 of them are here.
Well, of course, the Sydney Harbour Bridge.
Yeah.
The Story Bridge.
Yeah.
Quick little one. Where do you think the third is? Just give me a country.
Country. UK. Quickly.
You said a quick one, mate.
US.
New Zealand.
You're kidding.
Auckland.
What's the bridge called?
Auckland Bridge.
Fantastic.
I'm not sure.
Well, that's great. And, I mean, that was fantastic, but you also lined up a few, what would you call them, A-lister interviews while you were over there?
Yeah, we did good. Who did we sit down with?
So we sat down with, we pretty much just sat down with Tate and Fraser McReight. They probably played a straighter bat than Jorgo did when we had him. But then we got Big Joe Schmidt, and he was phenomenal. The boys were good as well, but, probably thinking about the game, and they're still in their, straight bat phase. So it was good to get them on.
Joe wanted to speak to us about selections and stuff and who he thought he should pick, and so we basically picked the squad, which we just gave him our Lion Tamers ahead of, I guess, what our viewers will see.
Pretty amazing that you three have picked both the Wallabies and the Lions leading into these test matches. So it's all on you three. So.
Heavy head that wears the crown.
Yes, indeed. And we are looking at doing those live shows, Drew. So the Thursday before the Brisbane one, and then the 2 Fridays before Sydney and Melbourne.
That's correct.
Is the plan.
That's the plan. Whether we can execute it, watch this space.
Yeah, logistics actually takes a bit of work, doesn't it?
Logisticking.
Unfortunately. How are you, Swoop? You're a bit quiet there. You're all
No, I was just, me, just listening, enjoying the boys go at it. I was just wanted to kind of rewind a little bit, talk about what else did you do up in Brisbane?
Well, I did throw it out there a little while ago to Matt and Adam, who's available, who can go up there. And then when we were up there, Swoop replying to some of my things on Instagram and go, "Oh, what's this for, bro?" I was like, "Are you serious?" Didn't even when I threw it out there, Gets called me and we worked it out. He said he'd be available and whatever, but this bloke doesn't even reply to anything. And then it's like, "Oh, what's this about?" What? And I said, it's for our live show. And he goes, "What live show?" He goes, "Who with?" And I was like, "Our live show." And he goes, "Yeah, but who with?"
Just making sure I wasn't running late.
Mate, the potential venue is pretty epic, though.
Yeah.
Going up there and seeing it firsthand, I know it's not for you, Swoop, because there was no invoice attached, but it was good fun.
Fucking bloke.
How do we make sure you're there on that Thursday?
Told you, mate. Just put it in my calendar. It'll be fine.
And he needs to get paid for it. That's it. Like, anytime I ask anything, how much?
You got that? Calendar, invoice. Done.
Do you have access to Swoop's calendar, Tommy? Yeah, he does. Okay, so Tommy's going to pop it in. And access to Swoop's bank account? He does. All right, he's going to do both of those for you.
Perfect.
We will look after you. What did we learn this weekend, boys? Anything? I'm happy to go rugby related. I'm happy to go life lessons. KOKO, what did we learn?
Not so much in life. Just stayed on the tracks. Healthy as Swoop's hat. What I learned, footy can come down to fine margins. We saw in the URC penalty shootout. We haven't seen too many of those, but penalty shootout deciding one of the finals to go through. So I think it's important. What I learned is that every player, against all coaches' better judgment, should always be place kicking after training, just in case.
Well, is Sharks v Munster, and they actually changed this penalty shootout rule. So I think the last one was 2009, and that was when every player had to kick. Now it's only 3 players are nominated.
And from different spots or something.
Yes, and then it gets more difficult. Whereas
but then if they were still tied up, they'd have to go again to the next delegated players, and I would imagine. So like everyone should. What I learned is everyone should just place kick after training.
Okay. You, Swoop?
Mate, I might jump around a little bit here. The Shoot Shield's in a healthy spot. I walked down the road to watch Norse take on Warringah. Unfortunately, the Shoremen went down. The Rats have got a pretty handy team, but it was a pretty good crowd. They put together a pretty good show. The Rats, we were there
a few weeks ago.
But that's good. It's good to see that the values of respect and tradition are still running pretty deep up there in Japan. I'm not sure if you saw the bronze medal match between Kobe and some other pleb team, but after the game it was
such respect in Japanese rugby, isn't there? He's talking about respect and
some
other pleb team.
I've only got eyes for the boys that head to the furnace each week, but the Steelers got up and it was the referee that was retiring. Gits, did you see that?
I did.
Yeah.
And they were playing Panna. It was Panna, right?
Oh yeah, plebs. And so they they get together, basically kind of each captain awarded him a signed jersey from each team, and then they get around in a circle and they throw them up. And I think it's like 3 or 4 kind of throws in the air, but that was pretty cool to see a referee get tossed up in the air as they
caught him though each time.
Pardon?
They caught him each time.
Just.
Yeah.
Did you boys do that, Swoop, when you won? Your coach get thrown up in the air and all that?
I think it's your last game. It's I think they throw you up when it's your last or your last season. So I got thrown up because it was my last. But
what about the big boys? What about the props when they finish up?
Well, you just get more people underneath.
Yeah, right.
More hands.
Good tradition. We should do that in here.
Well, actually, this is your last step.
Go on, boys. Can the 3 of you hold me up? That's a shame.
I'd back us.
I've had a good run. Have we made it to 100 shows yet? Okay, Tommy. How many have we done? Tommy has
get back to us.
no idea. Okay, terrific. Gits, what did you learn over the weekend? Anything for me?
Well, I mean, the rugby we'll get into. What did I learn? Well, I learned that I'm still no good with heights. So when we did that Story Bridge, it was a little wet, a little windy. And I also learned not to walk behind Drew when you're going up the Story Bridge. So we had we had a nice lunch. It was beautiful. We went to the new casino there, ate on the 23rd floor. Then obviously the dust had settled into Drew's guts, and I'm following him up the bridge, and he was just farting in my mouth pretty much the whole way up.
What did he taste like?
Oh, not good. He tasted a lot sicker than he looks at the moment, actually.
I think I'm just flushing a few toxins, that's all.
That's wonderful.
And because of the nature of the steepness of the stairs, Goyd was like right there, ready for dessert.
There's people that would pay for that. For Wallaby ex-great Drew Mitchell.
Mm.
Well, he was considerate. He let me know. He said, look, Beef, I'm going to have a bit of beef here. So,
and there wasn't anything you could do. We were locked in. We're like, we're wired on.
Together. Very good.
Yeah, but I didn't enjoy the climb. I mean, it's a beautiful climb and something that all tourists should do or even locals should do. But for me, I like the fear factor. I don't know why. You're harnessed in and everything else, but heights, it's not my thing anymore. I don't know why.
Maybe just because you're a bitch. Hey, Drew, I will say this, though. Maybe the crop dusting is working because I did receive a lot of feedback about you over the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Just how chiseled and sculptured your face is looking.
Who from?
One, the old girl.
Yeah.
Two, Johnny Belfast.
Oh, yeah.
And some other random.
Yeah, nice.
But anyway, mate, yeah.
Good feedback.
Good. That's great.
Yeah, I used to cop a lot in the comments on our shows, like, oh, Drew, good paddock, but now none of them saying anything nice. So
Where are you at, Beef, in this 8 week? Are we 6 weeks, 7 weeks?
yeah, I'd say we've got probably a couple of weeks to go.
Well, I'm in week 2, gents.
You're looking great.
Thanks.
Svelte.
Right.
Started
so
training
what are you
last
doing,
week.
a similar thing, Swoop? 8 weeks?
Maybe not the calorie deficit program, but
Training.
trained every week
Oh, so now I
at
have
the
to
yard
do
gym
something,
in Brookie, and my ass has been hanging out all week. I've been in bed by 8 o'clock each
Yeah,
night.
same.
I'm flogged.
It's nice, eh?
And then what do you
Actually,
do?
yeah, it's
I wake
kind
up
of
at like
different.
11:30 going, and then I look at my clock and it's like 11:30. I'm like, I've got like a whole night more to sleep. Like, it's like a win. Like, I feel like I've had like my full sleep, and then it's like only 11:30. I'm like,
So what do you do? Do you go back to sleep, or do you do a few laps?
nah,
on social
a
media?
couple of like sit-ups and then go back to sleep.
Of course.
Oh, how was your weekend? Do you need
Yeah,
to talk
what did you
about it?
learn?
What did I learn?
Are you okay?
I am okay. I've just said there's been a couple of deaths in my life recently, which haven't been
yeah.
very nice. Good mate's
I'm
dad.
anticipating
and,
some self-reflection here.
And
What do you got for
thank
us?
you, mate. And my
That's nice, Beef. Give him a hug.
No, I'm just enjoying that. I'm not going to get up and give you a hug.
that's okay.
I think that was Drew's.
Yeah, and it's just got me thinking about life. And
What are you thinking about?
well, we're not here for long, are we?
Oh, yeah.
You know.
You know, like I think probably 2 generations after us, no one will even remember we were here.
Maybe us. No one else.
But you know, like that's kind of what happens. 2 generations, like no one talks about it anymore. So just make the most of it, Prof. Enjoy
When
it.
you say us, who are you referring to?
Everyone.
You, all 5 of us,
all
Bailey in the room as well. Anyway, no, I've learnt that life is short, so play hard, Reebok. All right, that's it, boys. Rugby Roundup segment. Let's do it. People love it. This was the last round of the Superb Rugby. It has been an amazing season. We've all got around it.
I think probably the best season of Superb Rugby for a very long
Yes.
time, like if not ever, but like for a very long time, as long as I can remember. It's most competitive, most engaging, most games that was sort of decided quite close towards the end of each game. I mean, obviously there's a few blowouts, but I think overall, great season.
Yeah, I loved how competitive it was.
Yeah.
Obviously, the withdrawal of the 5th team last year, kind of boosting the outfits of the 4 in this year's competition, certainly helped. Allowed the kind of the top line players to really kind of go out there and perform and really show their skill sets. But also, I mean, we had 4 teams there in the top 6 there for a couple of weeks there at one stage,
for a
which
little
is
bit,
which was certainly a
I mean, the drop off is something that needs to be addressed. Like,
but also
drop off was
also being kind, I guess, in relation to the Super Rugby is one of the hardest competitions of rugby in the world. One of, I won't say the hardest, just in case I'm upsetting a few Northern Hemisphere legends, but it's brutal. It's a brutal competition. And, teams that go through to kind of win championships are the ones that kind of can keep their 15, fit and ready and on the field consistently week to week. So you saw that with the Force, you saw that with the Tars, that drop off in performances because of the I guess flooded with injuries. But it's good to see the Reds kind of finding a bit of form there.
Well, I was going to say, like, it's all like Super Rugby's momentum, right? Like, you see all the teams, and it happens year on year. Like the Crusaders won't start well, and then they'll come home, and like even the Blues weren't anywhere near it at the start of the season, but they're getting form at the right end of the season, and then all of a sudden they're making a run for it. So a lot of it is also about timing.
But gets your Brums. They did okay.
Yeah, they're still there. I mean, the game, it was a good game. I thought that Crusaders-Brumbies game was a cracking game. But all anyone's talking about at the moment is that referee missing that knock-on with Sevu Reece. Now, the Brums getting denied a home semi. Obviously, the revenue that would have brought in for the Brumbies, as well as finishing second. So they would have got a home playoff, whatever this quarter
Qualifying
is.
playoff.
Then they would have got a home semi, then potentially go away for that. My gripe with it is more just like refs, and especially the video refs, get involved in everything else. Why at some point when that's up on the big screen, can't he just blow his whistle like he does for a try? Say, wait a minute, we actually got this wrong. Should have been a scrum to the Brums. Like just, they interject so many times throughout a game now when they're not necessarily needed to, but then on really crucial, important moments like that at the back end of a game, nothing's said. So I find it hard to believe that every one of the officials, even the video ref, missed that, you know?
Yeah, I also don't think it'll make any difference, but I do think on a situation like that, they should be coming out and saying, look, we got that wrong. Like, it won't change anything.
What do you mean it won't make any difference?
Like, it won't change, like the fact that the Brumbies won't get second, like.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
acknowledge that they.
Yeah, but at least, be
Is that, do you mean the actual referee, or do you mean?
Well, the referee or the referee's representative, or someone just to say, look, you see it in the other code, rugby league. Sometimes I say we got this call wrong, whatever. Like, just take some sort of accountability on it, because it was wrong. And look, there's like players make mistakes, referees make mistakes, but like Matt said, when you've got the resources there and they use it so often in a game, then why not use it in a really crucial moment? The one thing I will say though, and there's a fair bit of chat on socials, is that people sort of identifying his stats, this Dolman's stats against, he's a Kiwi guy, and stats, I think it's 19-1 Kiwi teams against Australian teams when they play against each other. Now, I don't like the suggestion to question his integrity and say that he's biased towards Kiwis. I think more so it's probably a reflection of where Kiwi teams have been at against Aussie teams over the last period of time for those, those 20 occasions. So I just don't like us getting into the areas of saying that it was on purpose or we're questioning his integrity, because I don't think that's the right way to go about it. He made an error, and it's as simple as that. They should have rectified it. Haven't been able to, so then put your hand up and just say, look, we got that wrong.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just think that it's not even calling out the ref. It's the sideline official. That was 2 meters in from the sideline, exactly where the sideline official should have been, right near the ruck. So that was more how that can be missed that way.
Well, maybe a possible solution would be introducing a challenge rule, a challenge from each captain. It seems that every other sport in Australia has this challenge concept.
Well, every other sport globally. They've got it basketball, they've got it NFL, they've got most sports have it. So, yeah.
I mean, because there's always going to be human error, right? And the referees, the side touchies, the TMO are always not going to get it right.
Yeah.
But if there's a player right in front or someone involved where he knows it's the wrong call, at least give him the ability to challenge it.
Yeah, I mean, and you make a good point, Gitz. It's not just the ref, it's the refereeing team of that on that occasion. It's a TMO, it's the sideline officials, it's the referee out in the middle. So as a team collectively, they missed it. So then someone should come out as a team representative and say, yeah, we got that wrong.
I don't get it when it is up on the big screen, as you said, Gitz, and the ref can see it, the two linesmen can see it, the whole crowd can.
And there's no action?
Yeah, why do they just go, okay,
That's where I'm thinking the challenge rule needs to come in.
Chris Addis 33, Brumbies 31. And it was a round where a lot of the games were, still open to a result where a team would finish. Like, that shows you how good the comp was, right? Yeah. Like, right up until the end, the Blues could have still missed out, and the Waratahs, if they won, they could have gotten in. Obviously, seeing who'd come first, second, third. Very exciting. Any other takeaways here? Gets you another one?
I think, obviously, Lockie Anderson, 4 tries. Drew touched on the Reds finding form at the moment. I think what they do really well, especially with Hunter Paisami and Liner there, is it doesn't matter who's outside Hunter, if it's a big body or a back or whatever, but they run that Emmett shape. You boys remember obviously what we would do. So it's basically the 10 will pass to the 12, which is Hunter. He goes to the line, looks like he's going to attack and play short, and he delays it beautifully for Liner's line out the back. They used it off phase play, they used it off set, and they get a lot of pay out of it. So, yeah, they're finding some good form, and I'd love to hear the boys' thoughts on that Waratahs team. Like, that can't be... Is that the strongest team that they could have fielded?
Yeah, I mean, there have been injuries. I just want to go on the Queensland team as well, just really quickly. I thought Fluke was really impressive, having not been in the team since round 3, hamstring injury against the Force. He was really strong. And also to be in a position where he comes back from such a long period of time and keep Filippo Dunguna, who's been in great form as well, off the field. He was on the bench. Tim Ryan and Lockie Anderson got a start ahead of him on the wings as well. Lockie Anderson, scoring plenty of tries. I just think, Fluke must be held in such high regard there for him to kind of walk straight back in when Flip has been doing really, really well. So, it's a good position for Les Kiss to be in, to have those options and not just options, but options of players that are in form.
Little stat for you. Only 3 blokes have ever scored 4 tries. 3 Aussies have scored 3 tries, 4 tries in a Superb Rugby game. Can you name them for me? Obviously, now it's Lockie Anderson. Name the other 2 for me.
Was it Roffey?
Roffey and
Semois.
The bloke sitting there.
When?
I don't know. 2010.
When?
2010
against the Lions. I played that game, scored 4 tries, and then And then I got a message off my mum after the game saying, "Hey, love, congrats on your 5 tries." I said, "Oh, Mum, I scored 4." She goes, "No. You spilt the ball and one of the boys from the other team scored one." So I spilt the ball in the in goal and Tunderai Shavanga scored the try. So she gave me that one as well.
On your Kaz.
Own goal. 5 tries here. There you go. Swoop Reds, do you give them any chance from 5th? Can they go all the way to
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
top?
I think, I like the position that both the Brumbies and the Reds are in. I know the Brumbies will be filthy, but maybe it's a silver lining in a way where they're going to carry a little bit of dirt and grit throughout the week and know that they actually have to do it the hard way now. And that's a great mindset to go into finals with. The Reds seem to be kind of playing well for a game that had held no bearing. A little bit, I guess, unsure, uncertain about how they would have gone about their shape or their play or how they would have performed, but they absolutely ripped in.
Yeah.
Scored some fantastic tries. Their systems look in place. They look like they're holding shape on both sides of the ball. And they're both. What I like about both teams is both teams can win away.
Yeah.
So I'm really liking the prospect
They've
of
got
these
depth
two.
across the park, right? Like you look at their back row, McReight, Harry Wilson. You got Sarah Uru Bryles going really well in the back row, and then Blythe coming off the bench. Like they've got some good players that are fit and healthy, but also in form, which is always going to help at this time of the year.
And I think something that not is that we've been plagued over the last couple of decades, but I guess when Australian rugby's been strong is when the forward packs have been very dominant, and I like that these forward packs in both the Reds and the Brumbies have been very, very strong all year. I think they'll do some damage going to the finals, and because the backs off both teams are incredible.
Well, the big thing for the Reds will be how they manage the week. 5-day turnaround, short turnaround for them. So maybe one full noise session. You think, Goit? One full noise session. Get on the road.
Well, back end of the year, maybe a little spark.
Little
technique,
25 minutes.
You don't need anything full on at that point. It's also like defense and breakdown, all that stuff's attitude.
Yeah.
So once you're in the finals, you shouldn't need too many reminders really to get up for it.
Waratahs, do we want to get a bit forensic on this, or do we just want to say, look?
I just think it's...
Nah, we're digging deep.
I think it's probably a little concerning. There's so much hype about them and the recruits and the depth chart that they had on their team list, and they did and do have an impressive team list. I think those 6 of their best players, or 6 of their best players, not available for this one. But every team's going around with injuries, and it's how you manage that. But I still think they still had a team out there that should have done better than they did.
Well, they're competing up until 34, 35 minutes, and then they let in easy 14 points just before the half, just through system error, really. And it's not the fact that you're questioning anyone's effort or energy out there on the field, but just defensively. Just a couple of issues, but it was also, BB Bowden Barrett was like putting on an absolute clinic. He's hitting some form at the right time.
It was 10-3, and then the Tars got a penalty with maybe 4 to go in the half or 5 to go in the half, whatever it was. Could have even been more than that. And they had another shot at goal. Like, I don't know, I just would have seen them try and back themselves a little bit more, maybe go line out at that point, try and get back into the contest. It just... don't know. It just seemed like they're just trying to chip away at points rather than really break down the door.
Yeah, I think they said it after the game how long it's been since the Waratahs, or they won once there in 100 years or something, whatever it was. But you're not going to go to Eden Park and win a game by just chipping away with 3 points. Like, you've got to just take it to them. And we've all been there and failed and whatever else. But to take it to the Blues in that sort of situation, you've got to back yourself. You've got to just go there and back your attack. Attacking both sides of the ball. But to your point as well around Bowden Barrett, it's about identifying that and putting pressure on him and shutting him down, rather than waiting for him to play. You've got to identify, okay, let's maybe go, you would say mid-game often when we're playing, let's change it up and go line speed now. Just change the picture you're giving them, because they're getting a timing off whatever pattern you're playing. So, and they look comfortable in that. So let's change it up and try and disrupt their rhythm or something. It's just having the ability to have those smarts on the run to just change things up and try something else.
Best start to a Super campaign since 2009 for the Waratahs. We were sitting here saying how well they were going. So how do they get the best finish since 2014? How do they maintain it for the full 16 rounds?
Oh, it'd be squad health, really. Keeping your main players fit, battle ready on the field. You lose a couple of key players, it kind of changes the dynamic of the team. I don't think they adapted well enough. It's probably as simple as that. I found that there are two different teams from the start of the year in the dry conditions to later on in the season when the conditions are a little tougher. Like you look at Auckland. That's a bit of it's that's the tough thing about Auckland. Hey, you get over there on a Friday, you go through a captain's run, it's beautiful, it's dry, and on the Saturday it's pissing down wet. I just don't think the adjustments were there throughout the back end of the season, because in those kind of conditions, when it gets a little bit colder, a little bit slippery, you've kind of got to be able to adapt and be able to make those changes in the game.
Yeah. I think it's not just about the health. That plays a big part. But I think it's Dan McKellar will have been establishing relationships with each of these players, and I think next year he'll be better for it in terms of knowing how to have the players stay engaged and keep them motivated, understand what motivates them individually, and then also them as a group. Every team, you hear about it, every team has a bit of a pulse. There's always one or two players that really sort of instigate where the pulse of the team's at, but just sort of getting a better understanding of his group, because it's a tough season, and there's going to be times where you're losing key players and whatever, but you've still got to be able to keep the group engaged, motivated, have the right mindset, the attitude, all that sort of stuff. And I think that'll come more for Dan McKellar and those relationships he's got with the Waratahs next year.
Gits, thoughts on the Tars?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think the boys have made really valid points. I think you also could see throughout the year, if results didn't go well, the media obviously, and that's also, you've got the pluses and minuses of being a big city like New South Wales. They get all the media, but when things are going bad, then they still get all that media. And you could see the players, I think, halfway through the year start to change the way they played. It didn't look like they were the same confident group from the start of the year. And that's just, over time, obviously they're talking about a certain thing, not being able to play well away from home and blah, blah, blah. So then it starts to eat away at their confidence a little bit. So I just think, I think confidence had a lot to do with it, especially at the back end, when you just see them lost, for answers really, when teams are starting to really come at them.
Well, there you go. Waratahs fans, stay strong. Better than last year. It's a build.
Yeah.
It's a build.
Yeah, improved.
We'll get there. Next week, very quickly, these qualifying finals that we're calling them, obviously on the Friday, the Crusaders take on the Reds. That's going to be tough over there in Christchurch, boys. Reds, can they get it done?
Absolutely.
I think they've got the game to get it done. I think their ceiling's pretty high, and if they get to that close to that ceiling, they can get the job done. It's going to be obviously difficult against the Crusaders. I think the Crusaders probably really miss Will Jordan at the back. That being said, they were still very good on the weekend against the Brums, but I think there's probably a little bit from that game they could take away and sort of maybe look to where they could attack. But I just think with the Reds, I mean, both teams really, they're going into it with momentum, a lot of confidence. So it's honestly about going out there, you've just got to throw everything at it. You've got to have the right attitude, whether it's attacking, breakdown, all that sort of stuff. You've just got to nail that stuff. So then all the little, the passes and the flattening up on an attack can happen.
Chiefs Blues, Gits. Do you care about that result? Is there somebody you prefer to win?
No, I think it'll be closer than people think. You look at even the Chiefs. I think Quinton Tupaia, he went off early. In that game last weekend, I had him in my fantasy team. That's how I know he went off early. And so he's going to be a big miss for the Chiefs. They're obviously a confident side. They're still playing some good rugby, but the Blues are starting to hit some form now. Even Rico Ioane, 3 tries on the weekend. Talia, these big name players are now starting to put in these big performances. So I think it's going to be a tight one. Chiefs will be favourite, but I wouldn't be shocked if the Blues got it done.
Yeah, I mean, it's a grand final replay from last year. Blues won that 41-10, but I think you could probably say that it's forms on the other side this year at the moment. Chiefs are certainly looking like the team to beat. But, in saying that, the Chiefs have also had a couple of games there where they lost probably unexpectedly as well. The one at the Waratahs here in Sydney. I think there was one a couple of weeks after that as well. So, whilst they're in form, they've also... they've had slipped on a couple of banana skins. So.
I think for sure they'll be in their black kit. Because I think every time that they lost this year, it was in that white.
In the away kit, yeah.
Is that an actual thing?
I think Wallace at TT's been huge for him since coming back from injury. I think he just adds something else, he's a dynamic ball carrier. I think he's a guy that kind of has a presence in amongst that dressing room and in the huddle when they're out there. He's a player that certainly has an impact on his teammates.
So are we picking Chiefs in this, everybody?
Yeah,
I think they're playing with too much speed, power. Like their rhythm is just, it's pretty to watch at the moment. I think their spine, Ratama, D-Mac and Stevenson at the back is just, they're playing world class. So I think they'll be too strong for the Blues.
Brumbies, Canes, Goit, your men get to run around down there in Canberra.
Mate, I think honestly, I think the Canes are the sleeping giant of this comp. Personally, like Umaga Jensen, Billy Proctor, that centre combination, they're causing some headaches. The back row from the Canes, they're strong. So as a Brumbies fan, I'm a bit worried about the form that they bring and also the capability that they've got. Roygaard at 9, like he'd be the informed 9, you'd say, in New Zealand. And also with Len Ikitau, I saw him go off. So I'm still waiting to see. To me, it looked like it was quite serious, only because I'd seen something happen early around the 48th minute, because I'm just watching the boys. Like the good players, you just want them available for the Lions. Anyway, so I saw him and he was grabbing like behind kind of your tib fib area, just below your knee. Then it was strapped up. Then there was another action, maybe with 15 to go. The game's obviously tight. He had an involvement. Then straight away when he got up, just put his hand like to the bench, just say, mate, I'm off. Whereas if it's something small, you would jog a little bit to feel for it. So I'm a bit worried about Flicky Tower there. So I'm hoping he's all right.
And obviously the Canes got him last time.
I was going to say Duplessis Karifi in the back row. Like I was just having a quick little search there, so apologies for being on the phone. But he's got the most enormous quads. Right, they're delicious quads. He's got a tattoo across his right leg, and the tattoo reads "untouchable." What a beast! What a beast!
And is there room either side of the word, just on the front of his leg? Is it that wide?
I mean, zoom in.
Geez,
I mean, we'll put it up.
Look at the page. Yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah.
Untouchable. And so are we all saying Canes there or Brumbies?
No. I'm just
Brums.
more voicing
good.
My concerns.
Yes.
Obviously, I think the Brums get it done. Hopefully, what Sweep said. They take a bit of grit, knowing that they feel like hard done by, and then they can just carry that chip on their shoulder through the finals.
Oh, they love their chippies.
Yeah, we love that
chip sponsorship on that shoulder.
Listen, Beef, I think we deserve it. The top team, you wrote us off. Everyone wrote us off, and we're here again.
Well done. Well done, Matthew. Well done.
Well done, yeah.
So if you're wondering how the finals work, it's pretty simple. If you win, you go through, and if you are the top losing side, you go through. So obviously for the Brumbies, they are in the top 4, so even if they lose, there's a good chance they'll go through to the next round. And then the winner of those two, they go through to the final. And then
Makes complete sense. Thanks, Prof.
My pleasure. Clear that up, clear as mud. All right, hey, we teased it at the top, this Joe Schmidt interview.
Yeah.
Guys, I mean, is there a person you want to talk to more in world rugby right now? I'm going to say no.
Schmitty.
Bloody
How good is he?
Schmitty.
Is he Schmitty considering us?
Well, actually, Matt asked, you'll have to watch the next few minutes, but Matt asked how much bearing the classic Wallabies games will have on selection for the actual Wallabies.
Very good. Here's Drew Mitchell and Matt Giddo with Joe Schmidt.
So, right. Yeah. Look at this little KOKO sandwich.
Yeah. I'm feeling crowded in here.
KOKO, hey? Well, Joe, firstly, thanks very much for giving us some time. And also, thank you so much again for extending and staying on and allowing I think we all can agree that Les Kiss is the right successor. But to be able to make it work for all parties involved, for you to sort of extend your tenure as the Wallabies coach, thank you very much.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. The players have been great. The staff's great, and I think probably have to thank my wife as
yeah, of course.
Getting a longer leave pass.
What about Les Kiss that makes you confident that he's the right guy? You've worked with him before, but will you guys work together as well after your time as head coach and he comes into that role?
We haven't planned anything beyond that. I worked with him obviously in Ireland, and I felt he did a really good job for us. We had 2 really successful seasons together, and I enjoyed the way he coached. And I think the Reds, it's not something that happens by chance. The feedback from the Reds players is very positive about the way that Kissy has won the show, and so I think you can only have one guy at the helm, and so I'm pretty keen for Les to step in, to take over, and for me to step away.
Just lend an ear if he needs it.
Well, yeah, we're pretty good mates anyway, you tend to stay in touch a bit.
Yeah.
Now today, while we're here, 50 days out for the Lions game here, is it now starting to sink in, the enormity of this occasion, and are you starting to get excited about it?
Nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's a nervous excitement. It's a little bit of apprehension about just how big it gets. I've been to Lions test matches and as a spectator, and I just know the strength and depth that they have in their squad, so I know how competitive and combative it's going to be, and at the same time, I think there's been an expectation that's increased a little bit around what the Wallabies are capable of delivering, and so live up to that. You're always nervous, but quietly confident if we can get the right fit group together that we can be competitors.
Well, you talk about the depth there for the Lions. For Australia, I think the Super Rugby season's been super positive as far as unearthing new talent, even the talent from last year's Wallaby tour, kicking on and playing well for their club sides. As far as selection goes, how much will the classic Wallabies play a part in, selecting or causing more headaches potentially?
Yeah, well, I don't know if we can afford you gets.
It wasn't just me. Drew's also played.
Yeah, but I love that about rugby. That there's a whole lot of little events that get circulated around maybe the current tour, but old friendships are restored. Guys get back together, and it gives everyone an excuse to celebrate the game and the friendships and the values that form the kind of wider culture of the game.
Yeah.
And so, no, they won't be involved in selection.
Okay. Short answer.
Well, in terms of your selection, I'm sure it's been probably a pretty fluid piece throughout the course of the season. Guys, putting their names up, some are perhaps playing their way out of it. Is it a point at this stage where you're maybe 60% sure of who your squad's going to be, or 70%, like a few spots that are really up for grabs it's still?
Yeah, a mix of all that, Drew, to be honest. And there's a misnomer that, I'm picking the squad. It's very much a collective.
Yeah, of course.
I don't for a moment think that I'm going to push past someone that Mike Conn thinks is the best tight head or loose head or whatever, or Jeff Parling thinks is the best jumper. So it's very much cooperative selection, and so we bounce the selection around most Tuesdays. We get a medical update, and then we bounce around who's going well, who struggled a bit in the weekend, and try to keep a depth chart really of who we're looking at.
I mean, not many people watch our show, so you can give us an exclusive. Is there a chance that someone like an experienced James O'Connor, Bernard Foley, or one of those guys of that ilk that have had experience in this arena might appear in that squad?
I wouldn't discount it. We will favour the
ones that are here in Oz,
guys who are here in Oz. But I can be candid and say I've had discussions with both those players. So it's not like you're trying to discount people, and they do offer an experience that we don't have a lot of in such a pivotal position in that 10 jersey. So, I guess that's part of where we'll get to when we finish Super Rugby and we stack up that depth chart around the different attributes players will bring.
Yeah. One that I'm actually really keen to know is, what's your mindset around, after the first test, sharing a beer with the opposition in their dressing room? Will you do that in the first and second test, or will you leave until after the third?
I hope so.
Oh, yeah?
I like that. You'd like to do it?
I don't think
I would hate to do it as a player.
Really? I love it. I used to hate it when they used to say, no, not going in there.
But in the 3-test series, I'm like, unless we've won it, I want to go pretend I like them. Like, anyway, I asked Joe the question. Yeah, sorry, it's not for me.
It is. I just think there's been a little bit of bitterness in the last couple of line stewards, and it'd be good to be able to celebrate the game as much as you compete on the field, and if that's possible. Obviously, I coached with Andy Farrell for a long time. I coached Andrew Goodman and worked with Simon Easterby for half a dozen years. So John Fogarty coached and worked with. So a lot of their coaching staff are people I know well.
Yeah.
So I'd hope that it's a series where we do celebrate the game and play it to its utmost. But at the end of that, we get to build some of those friendships that do I suppose last through the decade that you're not playing.
So you've got Faz. Obviously, you said you worked with him. You know him. He's now obviously the head coach. During that period, I'm just trying to work out how coaches think. So as a player, I would often not overly be keen, even if it was a mate of mine, if he was playing that position, I wouldn't really like him too much. What's your mindset through a series? Is it like, do you get personal, or it's more just you're looking at it from a team point of view, how you can move forward? You know, like if
Or do we hate Faz? Do we hate
if
him?
he says something in the press
Like just for this period, do we hate him for this period?
No, he's a hard man to hate, to be fair. He's a good bloke. And so for me, the one thing, it cannot be about the coaches, right? So it is all about the players and what you can do to help them to best help themselves and help each other. So that's all coaching is. And so I'd be lying if I said I wasn't emotionally connected. No, I am up there and I'm living every moment from a distance, but I'm just trying to support the players as best I can. And so my relationship with another coach or whatever, I don't think it is. I don't think it's important. Yeah.
Last one from me, because Marty's hovering over here like you wouldn't believe. I think Drew's got one. That Fiji test, how likely will it be? Obviously, you've got injuries and whatever, but everyone being fit, how likely will that be that'll be probably the first test to play the British and Irish Lions? Or will it be a case of still feeling players out?
It'll be, I think it'll be half of each of those things. I think there would be players that need a rest. And so that they may not play. And some of the players have accumulated a lot of minutes. And there'll be other players who, who've just come back from injury who will need to play probably. And they'll either maybe play that Fiji test, or they may play the Waratahs the day before. Or they may play up here with the Reds. So it's hard because we're trying to balance it all out. And in the end, we're just going to have to be agile at the time and say, okay, we'll release these two guys back to go and play in Queensland. And these two guys we're going to hang on to because they've accumulated quite a few minutes, and we want them to keep a rhythm leading into that first test, so they'll play with our calls. Because it just, I think none of the teams play massively differently, but it's just a different language that you use, and so it's just recalibrating, I guess.
Yeah.
Now, Joe, we'd really like to say thank you as well for getting around our slogan, Schmidt it in. You've been great. You've been a great sport with that. But as you're passing on to the torch of the head coach of the Wallabies to Les Kiss next year, you're also we've got to come up with a new catchphrase, right? So we want your endorsement. We've got three options. It's either let's go, on winner's kiss, or taking the kiss. Which one would you get around?
I'd probably get around let's go.
Let's go.
Corporately, it aligns so much better.
I thought that was quite clear.
Yeah.
You must have got that from someone through.
I actually saw a guy named Let's Go on LinkedIn.
You sent him a message.
He hasn't replied to me, but I sent him a message. But Joe, honestly, thank you so much for your time. I know you're a busy man. You've got plenty of more important things to do, but great to catch up.
Always great to catch up, man.
Thank you.
And go well. And actually, last question. Are we going to Schmidt it in against the Lions?
Oh, we're going to try.
That'll do us. Thank you.
What an
Wow.
interview!
Wow, I've seen some interviews in my time. Boys.
My goodness me.
Fellas, wow.
Full disclosure, we haven't seen it, but I'm assuming it's very good. You spoke to him about the classic Wallabies.
Yeah, we spoke. Yeah, so obviously there's two games: Classic Wallabies versus the Lions Legends. So on each of the Thursday nights before the Melbourne and Sydney Test matches. So I think Melbourne, I believe, we're playing at Amy Park, and the Sydney game on the Thursday night we're playing at North Sydney Oval. They've put a pretty handy side together.
Have you got the sides there, Drew?
I do have the side.
Because I've got a question for you three off the back of it.
So, look, I'm just going to rattle through these names and their countries. Johnny Barrett, England. Richard Barrington, England. Shane Byrne and Captain, Ireland. Tom Court, Ireland. Paul Doran-Jones, England. Rhys Gill, Wales. Jamie Hagan, Ireland. Mike McCarthy, Ireland. Nathan Hines, Scotland. John Phillips, England. Mike Ross, Ireland. Andy Powell is playing. He's from Wales. Matt Stevens from England. Guy Thompson, England. Ryan Wilson from Scotland. Ben Woods, England. Jackson Ray, England. That's their forward pack. Now their backs.
Wow.
Brad Barrett, England. Dan Bigger, current Toulon player, Wales. Isaac Boss, Ireland. Alex Cuthbert, Wales. Craig Gilroy, Ireland. Lee Halfpenny, current Harlequin, Wales. Matthew Jess, England. Sean Lamont, Scotland. Rory Lawson, Scotland. Tommy May, England. Ollie Phillips, England. Tommy Seymour, Scotland. Ollie Smith, England. Shane Williams, Wales.
Wow.
And one I think we're all going to enjoy playing against, Mike Tyndall, England.
Wow.
So that's their squad.
It's a big team and also dynamic. Like that's a powerful.
Well, Shane Williams is still doing
Legends outfit.
Ironman. They've got two players that are currently playing top-tier competitions around the world.
Andy Powell, he's got a couple of screw loose. Loves the salmon. But
He loves the salmon.
He's going to murder someone. Matt Stevens, great set of pipes on
A
him.
great singer.
Great
and
singer.
a great chef, great host.
Great chef. Great everything.
You know, he got to black belt or something in jiu-jitsu as well.
Oh, that's just what I wanted to hear.
And he came second in Britain's Got Talent.
Nathan Hines, big unit, Scottish second row. Actually went to the same school as him. He's a Central Coast boy.
Is he?
Yeah, he's a grub.
Senny. Can I ask you guys a question? Who do you want to come out of the line and snap? You like to ask
Dan
the
Bigger.
current boys
Dan
this?
Bigger.
Dan Bigger?
Yeah, why not? Like everyone's talking about him, current player, Toulon. Like, fuck him. Let's go for his head.
Dan Bigger. You, Drew, who do you want to come out of the line?
Who's the biggest?
Discount. You go discount.
I want to test myself. I'm gonna go for Powley.
You're going to go for Powley.
Powley. He ended up playing Super League and League after he finished up in rugby. I'm going to go. He's my mate Powley. We played Barbarians together a long time ago. But
come out of the line.
I mean, let's be honest. I'm not shooting out of the line for anyone.
Come on, mate. You're looking fit.
Yeah, but mate, why would I all of a sudden retire and get good at defence?
That's a good point.
Maybe you just needed 10 years out of the
10 years
game.
of not doing anything, and all of a sudden I can tackle.
It's like when you don't play golf for a long time. Your first stroke's always a good one.
So I've got our team. The
can you
classic.
tell us who's going to flog
who
first?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Who are you going to?
Jeez. I don't really have any bad beef with.
Who will you be?
Yeah, actually. That's a
Defending.
good question from 13.
There's the
Probably Tyndall.
Tyndall,
Tens.
Tommy May, maybe.
Yeah.
Brad Barrett.
Oof. He's a solid unit.
He's a concussion waiting to happen for you if you do that.
I know. So I'll stay away from that.
Love it. Very good. And you got your side?
Yeah, so our sides, we're a bit light on in the forward pack. We've got Guy Shepherdson, James Hansen, Nathan Charles, Radiki Samo, Scott Higginbotham, Dean Mumm, Jake Schatz, Sam Scott Young. He's 58. But
Sam Scott old.
But he's wild. Yeah, Sam Scott old. Yeah.
That's good gets.
Bro, we played, when I was at the Reds, he was long time retired, came down with his his ankle top boots on a captain's run, which is just, like basically just get in front, no contact. And he was smoking blokes, icing them. And then they had to pull him aside and go, mate, like, just calm down. The boys, playing tomorrow. He's like, yeah, it's like this is what we used to do.
Sweet.
And he just shoot out all the nice people. And we're like, all right, guys, we've had enough. Just called it off.
That's where it goes from. He's the bloke that is the catalyst from gentlemen's to full
Yeah,
mob.
he's definitely going to lift the noise level. So then we've got Bo Robinson, Matt Hodgson, Georgie Smith, Stephen Hoyles, Luke Burgess, Pat McCutcheon, Nick Frisbee, Matt Giteau, Cooper Vuna, Digby Ioane, Will Chambers, Julian Huxley, Mike Harris, Adam Ashley Cooper, myself, Lockie Turner, Rod Davies, Mark Gerard, Sam Norton-Knight, Sidaleki Tamani. So he's actually he's playing at Breeze.
Mate, this is handy.
Yeah. Tunkeli Nairavoro.
Kelly.
Yeah. And then, wait for it, Pat Howard
Paddy Howard.
and Justin Harrison.
You're kidding.
Yeah, that's our
Goog's
squad.
playing. How old's
Good.
Goog?
I don't know.
72, I think. But Kelly, he's at least.
Yeah, he's playing up at North in the
Northampton?
Hospital Cup. No, North in Brisbane.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Talk to me about how many St John's ambulances will be standing by for this.
Yeah, I'd say one each.
34.
Yeah,
Exciting.
it is exciting. I'm obviously trying to get into some type of shape. I'm trying to mitigate the risk of getting injured.
Yeah.
I want to just go, and one thing that I miss about playing is those moments in the dressing room where they go, righto, boys, let's huddle up. We're about to go out. Those sort of nervous energy, and you get around, you grab a bit of jersey, and you look at each other in the eye. Like those little moments you just can't replicate, but also the moments in the dressing room after the game as well. Once you win, lose, or draw, you just get around each other. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I just want to be able to enjoy that without having ice all over my body or getting carried off or whatever. So hopefully we get through the 2 games unscathed. Players from both teams can sit there and have a beer after each game and just get around it.
So my obvious question is, Gits, how serious are you going to take it? Because the last time, and I was on the wing running up and down, it was a charity match in Hong Kong. You got in the ref's face, told him he was fucked, told him he was one-eyed, and he had to say to you, mate, this is for charity.
Yeah. I mean, was I wrong? I was pretty spot on. I thought it is. No, I was actually of the understanding that this was like, a bit of a gentleman's game. But then I hear that the Lions players are already preparing. They're going to rip right in. So I'm getting a little nervous about it, to be honest.
So, okay. So where can people come and watch this?
So, Amy Park in
Melbourne.
Melbourne on the Thursday night before the MCG Test match, and North Sydney Oval on the Thursday night before the Sydney Test match. But both tickets are on sale, so just type on the Google and find where those tickets are. But I believe it's also going to be broadcast on Stan as well. And a couple of no, but I honestly, I'm hearing that they're going to have a couple of commentators that were more our ilk when we were growing up. A bit of a throwback, classic. You could say classic commentators as well.
Gordon Bray?
I'm not sure.
Have to be.
I'm not sure.
Buddha Handy.
I'm not sure.
Greg Clark.
Oh, Clarky.
I'm not sure. I'm just saying. That's what I'm hearing.
Greg Martin?
I mean, I'm
Bruce McAvaney.
I'm absolutely certain, but I'm not saying.
Rabs Warren.
Marta'd be on.
The Warriors.
Are you allowed on Stan? Can they?
I think they'll just pixelate me.
They'll have a live pixelator. And thus that throws the ball to the 11.
To number 11. Yeah.
Yeah, but
The other one, sorry, really quickly, and you may not know this. I don't know if you've played them before, but each time I played classics, the captain is the most capped. So I think Swoop's going to be leading us out.
Good.
Did you know that, Swoop?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I believe they always give the captaincy to the most capped Wallaby.
Few words. I'll lead.
In that
I'll
squad.
try and lead by example. That's a gummy bear stuck down my throat. But I just want to echo Gits. I'm nervous too. I've actually started training. We're 8 weeks out. I mean,
Yeah, you just don't want an injury. You don't want a muscle tear or something, because then limping off, everyone's ripping into you. You just don't need that. You just got to get through the game unscathed, and hopefully we take.
but it's a special occasion. The Lions come out once every 12 years, right? So it's a very special kind of integral moment for the players that will be involved in that in terms of current players. But for guys like us, when's the last time you got to play against a Lions Legends team? I know there's going to be somewhat a gentleman's agreement about it, but that's not really.
It always starts that
the
way,
fact that
4 minutes in,
it's
someone
televised,
will show,
I would suspect that North Sydney Oval will be a sellout before the third test,
I just
particularly
hope it
if it
doesn't
goes to a
overshadow
decider.
it, mate. What if the Thursday
There's a lot of
night
people
game's big?
talking about it, a lot of people excited about
Well, that's why
watching the old
gets
boys
asked the
get around.
genuine question. What if there's a standout in Melbourne or in Sydney, and all of a sudden you're lacing up 2 days later? No, but in terms of the injury as well, I don't want to get injured, because if I get injured, I'll have that for the rest of my life, because I don't have access to the physio and the massage and the rehab and all that sort of stuff that we used to have. So if I rip my hamstring off the bone, then it's staying ripped off.
Gits made a good point about the crowd giving it to you. Tommy, we need to go. We'll go find a spot right down near
I think
these
it's sold out,
guys.
fellas.
That's a shame. Well, there you go. That's very exciting. All right, let's talk. It's time for the NHLs to get excited. URC quarterfinals. Stop me if you want to dive in. Glasgow 36. They defeated the Stormers 18. Obviously, Sione Tuipulotu played very well.
Yeah.
Bulls 42. They defeated Edinburgh 33. Our man Pierre Schumann played the house down.
The Bulls are.
Prime.
I think they're pretty fancied.
Yeah, to get it done the whole way.
Could do. Yeah, could be them and Leinster.
Well, Leinster 33 over the Scarlets 21. And then finally, of course, that Sharks 24, Munster 24. And then it's this penalty kickoff.
Well,
So
when
what's
extra
actually called?
time, still a draw, went into a penalty kickoff, yeah.
And nowadays you're saying it's changed. You only pick 3 players. Is that right?
I believe so. It's your top 3 kickers and the position of the kick changes. Top 2 kickers, Tom. Top 3 kickers and 2 kick.
And does anyone know what
Two kicks
the controversy was at the back end?
So I think Hendricks went down with cramp in front of Crowley and sort of put him off a little bit. And I think it was because he kind of gave him a bit of a wink. Everyone thought it was gamemanship rather than cramp and whatever. But well,
then Hendricks went down with the cramp off one of the penpenalties.
Yeah.
So
That's
he
what I'm saying.
kicked
Yeah.
I see.
So and Crowley was there. And
Sorry.
then Crowley had words with one of the Sharks assistant coaches. It's one of those things, right?
Back when we were at Toulon, remember when we practiced? So we'd often, our crazy Bernard Laporte would always prepare for everything, but not really prepare for anything important. So we would have these kickoffs where you'd have obviously Johnny taking the kick. You'd work out who would kick where. I think, Beef, you were part of the top 5, weren't you?
Yeah.
Were you up there?
But only from the right side of the field with that sweet little left curl.
Yeah. So he was part of the 5.
So, Johnny, you
it would have been like
Drew.
Dylan Armitage.
Right.
Yeah, we had D'Lo. I think Drew may have been even 4th choice, and then Steph was 5th.
Yeah.
Steph Armitage knocked one over for Berritz to get them promoted to the top 14, I think, a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago.
And then were you in the top 5? Swoop at Bordeaux?
No, well, we didn't discuss it, but we actually discussed it before the 2014 Waratahs Crusaders Super Final. Czech being a little bit like Laporte, crazy, but prepares for everything. I remember having a discussion being the decider between myself and Stephen Halls being the 5th, because at that time I think it was you had to be on the field. It wasn't necessary. You had to finish the game on the field. So, I mean, the first 4 was obviously Bernard was the priority, then KB, Izzy Folau, I think Brendan McKibben would have been back to take over Nick Phipps somewhere in the extra time. So he was going to be on. He's a kicker, and then it was either going to be myself or Halsey. But I won the shootout at training, or captain's run to take that from the sideline. Halsey didn't actually even put it through the sticks.
Well, that rule's still in place. So only a few minutes before the end of the game play, they took Makazole Mapimpi off and put Bradley Davids on because he was going to be their 3rd kicking option, and he was the one that ended up kicking the winner.
There you go.
So, sorry, I was just going to say Plumtree. I saw some quotes from Plumtree, and you're saying that they were having to sort of frantically think before the end of regulation time, when extra time, as to making sure that their best 3 kickers were on the field, so then they were eligible to kick for them.
I wonder if that had a bearing on the result in extra time, whether they weren't playing as attacking.
Well, I'd say it would have been last couple of
30
minutes.
seconds. Japan League. You were talking earlier about the bronze medal match. Obviously, Kobe Steelers, they got it done 22-17 over the Wild Knights. And then the final, Toshiba Brave, they beat the Kubota Steers, which was Mo'unga versus Bernard Foley.
Yeah.
Yep.
Richie, he got the chockies. So well done to him.
He's been killing it up there all year. And so has Nardi. I mean, probably the 2 best 10s in the competition.
I'm going to throw you. So Richie Mo'unga has won a club title every season for the past 11 years.
Shut up.
Right? 2015 NBC title, Canterbury. 2016 Canterbury. 2017 Crusaders Super Rugby. 2018 Crusaders Super Rugby. 2019 the same. 2020 the same. 2021 the same. Those 2 were Aotearoa because of COVID. 2022 Super Rugby Crusaders. 23 Crusaders. 24 last 2 years in the top league in Japan. The guy just wins.
Yeah.
We might be about to win an Anzac test versus the Lions.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
As well.
Yeah.
And then, well, he's not coming back for Bledisloe, is he? No? Don't bring him back. All right, very good. A few other little things happening in rugby news around the world. Slippers re-signed for the Brumbies. He's looking to make it to 400 Super Rugby games, I think, over the next little while. Pretty amazing. I mean, is it 170 or something? Is he 185?
Yeah, he's
not
right
far
up there.
off.
I mean, he said he's enjoying his time down there. He loves the club.
He loves being a bully. If he was a bully this year, I'd like to see what he's going to be like for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Angus Bell, he's activated his sabbatical clause. He's heading to Ulster. So good luck to Belly. Come back soon. Fair enough, boys.
Come back soon. Come back with pockets of cash. Go on.
Yeah.
Where does he go? Not where does he go? When does he go? Is it before the end of season tour, or is he still available for that? Do you know?
That's a good shout. I don't know. Tommy, do you know whether he can play that?
Oh no, it's
spring
not
tour?
super important. I was just wondering. It'd be great to have him for consistency. You know, end of season tour, and then.
Yeah, I'd say that'd be the case. He'd play rugby championships in the tour, and then he'd stay on over there.
So they'd only have to buy
the back end of the season.
Yeah, just a flight one way then as well. Saves you cash.
You're a thinker.
Yeah,
Jeez.
saves all of his cash. Carlo Cesano, he's going to stay on at the Force till the end of 2027, which is good for everybody. Carlo's playing the house down. Yeah, he makes me laugh. I don't know why.
I think the People's Choice over there at the Western Force Awards night, and the doctor, Throbber, Tom Robertson, got the Nathan Sharp medal.
So did Carlo end up being the highest try scorer for the
I believe
Super
so.
Rugby? Very well done.
So what do they get now, Beef? Just the medal. We got a watch back there when we were there.
Yeah.
A Rolex.
Oh, really? As in you got one personally, Gits?
Yeah, well, I did. Yeah, Drew missed out.
It was suspicious.
Actually, we were super tight. 2007, the first year we were there.
And there was a game against the Hurricanes where I didn't score any votes on MVP night, but I got the man of the match voucher to that jewellery store during the season.
Yeah, well, that was the jewellery store that gave me the Rolex.
Yeah.
Is it a Rolex, Gits, or is it spelled ROLUX or something?
No, it's genuine. It was
proper one?
two-tone. I remember it. I just have no idea where it is, honestly.
I wish I could lose a Rolex. What does that tell you?
I know. Anyway.
Other news, Ben Donaldson, he's re-signed until 2027, which is good news. That's all I've got for you, really. There's a bunch of other stuff.
It's good that everyone's committing and
Yeah.
staying on. Obviously, you've got the World Cup at home. It's a big carrot for a lot of these players.
And also, look, it's good that everyone's loving it over there in Perth as well. Everyone's like re-signing and obviously feel like they're building something over there. So
good on the Force and good on the boys that have re-signed there. Let's get your whiteboard in there, Tommy. The Lion Tamers. What position are we up to, boys?
Well, we did locks last week. So
we've still got probably a few more locks to go.
Well, you want to do 2 locks and 2 back rolls?
Sure. I'll go Will Skelton.
Oh, straight off the bat.
I think Big Will's going to come back.
Big Will's going to come flying.
You're an arsehole, Drew. We were talking about this in Brisbane, and you've just taken it straight away.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
All right, go, Prof.
I'm going to do a back rower. I'm not doing a second rower.
You're not going Valentini. You're not doing
Valentini. Mate, you just said it was my choice. Bobby V.
We still need another lock.
Gits, you got another lock for us, son?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Joe Bryle. You
Nice.
know, Queensland second. Well, he can play second row and back row. But I think how dominant he was, obviously he got a try against the Drua. But that try against the Canes, he showed a lot of strength. He looks like he can get around the park pretty well. But also, if you were to move him into the second row, I reckon he'd do a job as well.
Yeah.
Your turn, Sweet.
Well, you can't go wrong with McReight, can you, in there?
No. Why have we skipped number 6 on the...
Because we still need another 2 props.
Gotcha.
We also probably need now another second row because Sweet put a back row in the second row spot, but that's all right.
Okay. We will get there eventually. Congratulations to Will Skelton, Joe Bryle, Bobby Valentini, and Fraser McReight. Well done. That's the Lion Tamers doing very well. Hey, gents, that's kind of all we need to do in the episode.
Yeah, well, speaking of Fraser McReight,
It's got him a double there. He went to take the permanent marker off me, but I hit him in the palm, as you can see, with a bit of black ink. And then I threw the lid and got him right in the scone.
Yeah, so Tommy came in and
2 from 2.
swoops, thrown and hit him with the whiteboard marker. That's classic.
He's on today.
Sorry, Drew, you were saying, yes, we've
speaking of, obviously Adams just picked Fraser McReight in the Lion Tamers squad. Gitz and I, we sat down with Fraser McReight and Tate McDermott as well after we, when we were up there speaking to Joe Schmidt, we got a little bit of chance to sit down with those boys while they played straight bats. So tune in. Well, should we get right into it?
Yeah.
We're joined today by Queensland Reds and Wallabies, Fraser McReight, Tate McDermott. First of all, we're here at a Wallaby press conference. You chose to wear Queensland gear. Like, whose decision was that?
Above my pay grade, mate. Yeah, I'm just go.
Yeah.
Get what you're given.
Is that right? And the boots? What's the option? Why do you blokes both wearing boots?
It's a great. Kind of got told to wear it, but that.
It makes no sense.
Realising, yeah, it didn't. Maybe I'll get in full mate.
I think it's bad luck, isn't it? We used to like walk. No. I'm saying now it used to be bad luck.
It's bad luck not to wear them, is what he's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you all right?
At least we don't have our medals on. That'll be.
Yeah. Are you okay? Like, you're a bit, body language is a bit closed off. Are you okay? You comfortable?
It's close to the game.
On your gut.
Looking forward to the game.
Big lunch.
Yeah.
Draw tomorrow.
Yeah.
Big game.
Big game. Get us in a good stead for the final.
Well, this will be out after the game, so let's just go as if you won the game. I've made a great game against Drua.
Yeah. What about that try?
Get dirty. It was.
Yeah. What about, we're here today, 50 days out before the British and Irish Lions. First test, kick-off here, Suncorp Stadium, Brisbane, July 19, I believe.
Yes.
July 19.
You're right, yeah.
You guys obviously, I know you're focused on the Reds, and we heard you say it in the press conference. I'm only focused on the drill, but you've got an eye at least on the Lions. You must be pretty excited for it, not just for to be involved as a player, but for what it brings to the rugby community here in Australia.
Yeah, I reckon it's going to be bloody exciting.
Yeah.
I was here the other night at State of Origin, and just to see this stadium where it's packed out, which is what's going to happen in 50 or 49 days' time, I reckon, from playing for you, that's unreal. So something we saw 12 years ago, like I said, but to be here now and hopefully be a part of it is, I don't know that phrase, but I'm chomping at the bit. So it's real exciting.
Yeah, it hasn't really sunk in until sort of hearing Big Kev speak about when he played and how loud it was in the anthem, and you can kind of get a gist of it due to playing, obviously around, but big spectacle of it all is going to be fantastic. And yeah, just need more gold jerseys there in red and hopefully get a good result.
And is there anyone in particular you'd be pretty keen to eye off? So you've both played Tests, England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales. Pick any one of those that you'd love to fold. Is there anyone in particular?
There has to be someone.
Plenty.
Yeah, which player?
Oh, which one? Oh,
Go on.
There's no way.
Hey, just throw it out there.
I think it's always when you're back row, you're keen for the back row battles. So
Yeah. So who?
we got the English boys, they're always good, and obviously there's Josh, Benefleur, Tom Curry, Benel there.
Oh, you want to take them all? I love that. Very un-Queensland, like after the Origin, they didn't kick to Spencer Leniu, whereas you want them to bring it.
Well, they've got such good depth. I don't know who they're going to pick, so may as well.
Yeah.
On depth, there's lots of Australian players playing well, especially in the back row. If you were to wish an injury on someone in your position that you think's probably your toughest rival, who do you think?
Yeah, I think too,
career ending, just like a little injury.
Yeah, just like enough to keep him out for the Lions series, so
Little
you guarantee that 7 jersey.
Yeah, so you get the first start, and then from there on, you're going to play that well. You'll hold the jersey.
Well, I'm not going to say anyone. I'm going to say myself because I had a shoulder injury early in the season.
Yep.
And
Scoring a try.
Yep.
It's weird.
Try. Weird.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's a forward team.
Yep.
Wouldn't mind getting back in the gym, a few extras. My whole body's gone a bit, so if I could not fully out of the lines, but 2 or 3 weeks, get me in the gym.
Oh, you want a little bit of a
little regen.
Okay.
And I'll be
Definitely not the question I was expecting.
No, the answer you mean.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
question
Yeah,
you knew was coming.
Yeah. What about you, Tate? Anyone to see just like,
Well, who do you think's playing well in your position? And you can't say everyone. You can only pick one.
the biggest competition for
No,
you?
mate. Sorry, your answer was too good. I know, but your answer was a cop-out too.
I reckon a bit of a dark horse is Ryan Lonergan's been playing the Brumbies.
Yeah.
And you've obviously got Whitey and Jakey who have both missed a couple of games. So, not that I want lies here.
No.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, sorry.
No.
But to answer your question, it is a dark horse, and he's been playing probably the best in Brumbies.
And you'll have another year to really work on your relationship with Les. You know, like, is that something that you thought of as well, like to give you a head start for the Wallabies?
That, but also knowing that he's going to coach us next year. We don't have someone else. So yeah, but yeah, I think it's not something I've really thought about, but it's obviously going to be a pretty seamless transition when it happens. Hopefully he brings his red boys over.
Yeah.
So,
Fraser, if you were to have a sabbatical, which club would it be at? Like, if you could just choose.
Every club is going to give you a huge deal in any country.
How much rugby am I playing?
Enough to kind of warrant your signing, but not enough to run you into the ground.
If you're asking for a lot of cash, then you've got to, you do have to play a couple of minutes.
Oh, I'm good.
Couple of minutes, yeah, here or there. Give 60 most games.
Southern France could go pretty well. You're on clubs along down there.
Yeah, would have.
We'd have that, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fun down there, I reckon.
Yeah.
Guys would show me the ropes.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, well.
I'll actually move over if you need someone to show you around the place.
I think Rabs has told me a few stories. So.
Yeah. Even those are probably not appropriate for this show.
Yeah, he's pretty crazy there.
Yeah, probably Southern France would be cool, or maybe LA.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, especially if you're going to get the money.
Oh, you really want to hang the boots up? Take it easy.
No, but you're getting the same contract. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Easier rugby. I like it. That's smart.
Well, he also knows people there.
Oh my God! So was it? Know that?
No, well, no.
It's
So smart.
when you play.
Said he was shooting.
Yeah. Maybe Suntory in Japan. Just another one.
Last one for me. You've both got an opportunity to have like a one-on-one with Joe, and I saw you getting really tight. What were you talking about? Was there any about test, or was it just like general chit-chat?
I spoke about me finishing uni, close to being graduate.
What are you doing at uni?
Submitting my final assignment this week, accounting.
Accounting.
An accountant.
Really? I don't know if I want to be an accountant, but I did it.
Are you good with numbers?
Did it 8 years ago.
Your budgeting and all that? You good with money?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Sound good.
Oh, mate, you sold it. Can you?
Money.
Oh, there's other things.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Right, so it was just general chit-chat with Joe.
You didn't get an inside, didn't say you're going to pick me or...
No, I was just talking to him about Carlo and Fraser's relationship.
Oh, is it strained?
That's good.
Oh, is it good?
Yeah. 20s together now.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think of Carlo? Like, I didn't know much about him until we interviewed him.
Oh, he's very out there.
He's out the bag, isn't he? He's a great fella. Okay.
Yeah, all right. Well, we're getting the wrap up by Marty.
Yeah.
Because Joe's, he's got to go. So, boys, all the best for this weekend against the Drua and beyond that in the playoffs. Go deep, and we'll look forward to seeing you boys in the gold jersey and fucking Schmidt it in against them Lions as well.
Yes.
Cheers.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, fellas. real hard-hitting shit.
Yeah.
Peace.
Wow. Now that is an interview.
Yeah.
Goodness me. I thought the Joe Schmidt one was good.
Mate, I was there and I thought that interview was amazing.
I don't know what to say. I didn't watch it, but
Yeah, we didn't see it.
I will say that Tate McDermott, he's impressive, like on the field and off the field. Really loving seeing his progress and development over time. Like, it won't be long before he's captaining the Wallabies, I reckon.
As far as Tate's concerned, I would probably, for these series, I know he's playing super well, but the energy and impact that he brings, no matter how well he's starting for the Reds, I would still love to see him come on at, say, the 50-minute mark and finish games off for the Wallabies.
So who's your starting 9?
Well, I think Ryan Lonigan deserves a shot, even if it's for that first test against Fiji to see how he goes.
Big call,
I know that's punchy.
Gits.
I know, but I think...
No, I like it. I love it. I love
He's
it.
playing well. You know, it's not that Whitey and, Jake
Jake
Gordon
and-
aren't doing their jobs, but I just think he deserves an opportunity, especially against Fiji, if it's a bit of a trial. and
It's a
error.
great discussion because I'm loving the depth of our 9s. We've got Nick White, Jakey Gordon, Tate McDermott, and Lonigan, right? They're all class, and it's if we're finding it hard to or struggling to pick the starter for the Wallabies against the Lions, I mean that's a nice little nightmare for everyone to have.
Yeah, and as we just heard Joe say, that Fiji game will be a combination of guys he wants to have a look at. A couple of guys that have probably played big minutes for the Super Rugby season that will be rested for that game. So it's going to be a bit of column A, column B. So there's going to be players that will have an opportunity to either take that opportunity or to throw it away.
I think Joe's very big on combinations too. Will probably be his 9 as well, like he'll stick with that combination, I believe.
Speaking of combinations, let's do a little quick fire 9-10 starters. Little 9-10.
9-10
Like it.
starters. Well, are we going this way?
Yeah, you start, Prof, and we'll go anti-clockwise.
I'd go, to start, I'd go Gordon and Donaldson. And then, but I personally, I'm just, you guys are the union guys. I think that McDermott and Liner are the best 9-10 combo.
But who you picking, mate? Just 9-10 go?
Well, I'd go
Starting.
McDermott
First
and
test.
Liner, personally.
Okay. Gilts?
Oh, it's good. Moving on to me. I'm going to go, well, that Fiji test I'm talking about. I think I'd love to see Ryan Lonigan there. And I also would like to see Dono. I know they're not that combination together. And that's obviously Joe's big on combinations. But for me, I just think that is a good attacking threat as a 9-10 axis for me. And then with Tate coming off the bench to last 30.
Yeah, I think the 9-10 in the Fiji game will be different to the starting team for the Lions. I think if the Brumbies go deep, Noel will be the 10 for the first Lions test. Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see Dono if he can transfer that same attack into the test arena this year. And if he was to do that, let's go full attack and go Tate.
Tate and Dono. Swerve?
Yeah, I'm going to go Tate and Dono.
Tate and Dono. Clip that up, Tom.
But it's either going to be
enthralling.
it's either going to be Jakey or Tate in that first against.
Oh, mate, I don't know.
But
But it's difficult. That's the
play
beauty
Good,
of it.
man.
You know, we've got headaches. It's not like set that this is who it's going to be because we've got players that are all
Yeah, I
performing.
know, but
you
at
know,
some
the
point we've
moment.
got to have it set, you know?
The reason why I asked that is I haven't seen attack like Tate McDermott's in that 9 role for a while. He's cutting up teams, and just with how the shapes evolved, the defensive shapes evolved over the years, very structured, very 10, 12, 30, 40, pillar focused, where 9's in the attack, it's just 9's sole role now, just to get to the ruck and distribute, get the ball out as quickly as possible into first set of hands or second set of hands. Tate is just kind of...
But that's what I think, bro, against England, when he came off the bench, he changed the momentum of the game. Just 2 little half line breaks, and then off the back of that, we got into a rhythm. So I feel like you can't prepare for his attacking threat when he's on the bench. You prepare for your starters. That's usually how a game plan goes, and then you're aware when someone comes on. But if he comes on with 30 to go, you can't really set for that as much, other than just be a little bit aware. But all week you prepare for your starters. And I think Lonigan, he's been kicking well off both feet, and he's controlling things well. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. I get a little bit worried. I don't know. Remember 2019 going into the World Cup, we didn't know who our 10's going to be. You know, no one was really putting their hand up. Like, it's a little bit different that players are in better form than that perhaps they were in 2019, but we still just don't know. And that kind of makes me a little bit nervous. Like, you would hope now that someone's going, like, shooting the lights out, going, I'm your 10. You know, like, or I'm your 9. Like, the fact that we're sitting here and we can't really all land on the same person, like, just makes me nervous. I get comfort in the fact that they're all playing well, but it does make me a little nervous.
I get comfort in the fact that I've seen huge growth, not just across the team, but with Tate's game at 9, that the defence will be asking a series of questions. And if you're asking more questions of the D, and the D's got that little bit more kind of awareness or a little bit more blurred vision because they know what Tate's capable of, then that's just going to give guys down the line more opportunity to find space.
Yeah. I just think like the rugby now is becoming more about role players, right? Like you see it with James O'Connor at the Crusaders, right? Like they don't start him at 10. They always just keep him. Doesn't matter if the starting 10 changes. James is always the guy off the bench because he's got a role and he plays it well. It's much like perhaps what Gitz is talking about with Tate, a role player coming on at 30 to really open the game up. Like I just think that's where the game's heading. You know, you hear about it in basketball and other codes as a role player, and I think that it's becoming less about, I'm on the bench, like it's like getting dropped. It's like you've got a role and it's just as important to close out that game. And I think sometimes we've got to look at it as who can play that role that needs to be played for the betterment of the group and how we get the best out of it. And, you know, and there's definitely arguments for what these guys
It's
are
interesting
saying.
because you saw role play with the Springboks, with the bomb squad.
Yeah.
You know, coming on doing their role, right?
Yeah.
We've been experimenting it, whether it's intentionally or unintentionally, with our playmakers, 9s and 10s.
Yeah. You've been experimenting with a bit of role play as well.
Tell us.
Yeah.
Well, here's my role. My
Let me just
role
say
is
it's
to wrap this show up.
It's kind of
because
hurting.
we're getting...
Got any softer seats?
Really? Go on.
No.
That was at Kickoffs and Kick-Ons. I hope you enjoyed it. That's where you can find us everywhere, socials, etc., etc. Hey, we are getting close to these Lions arriving here and us.
Do you know that? What's their actual arrival date? When do they step foot off the plane?
Not sure.
Because let's just turn up, just fucking,
Just give it to them at the airport.
Take a case, like a keg
Well,
of
when we
eggs.
were in
each.
Brisbane, we were 50 days out on the Friday from that first test.
For the first test, though, but
So 43 days maybe from when they get here, you reckon?
no, because that's for the test match. They've got all the games before it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, good point.
Yeah, they'll be here in a couple of weeks.
Who's the first game? Force?
Force, yeah.
Yeah, which is on the
28th of June.
28th.
Like this month, mate.
Mate, so that you'd have to say they'd be here at least a week.
Yeah.
Maybe
Guys,
10
you know what's
weeks.
more exciting than the Lions coming here? It's our 100th episode next week.
You're kidding.
100 next week. Are you going to be in here, Gits?
Absolutely. It was only because I'm going to the Matildas game tonight.
All right.
That I couldn't make it. I forgot that we bought
Should we
tickets.
make it like, should it be black tie?
Yeah.
That's a good
Suits?
shout. Yeah, just dress to the nines like it's your 100th match. Everything's 100th theme.
Oh, he'll come as cricketer again or something.
Deluxe.
Something boring.
It's a
Can
tough-
you get us a
it's tough
cake?
one.
I mean,
Can you
It's
get us
not
a
a bad
cake,
shout.
Tommy? That wasn't very confident.
Hundy.
Okay.
You'll
Tommy's
come
gonna
up
get
with
us a
something
cake.
pretty cool. Drew's pretty good at this. If you're lacking any ideas, just call Drew.
You got cake ideas?
Yeah, so much cake.
Fantastic. All right, tune in next week for the 100th episode. Well, there you go. All that's left to do. Cuckoo! Wonderful.
Really good.
Cuckoo!
There you go.
Oh, wow. That is the best video on YouTube. You know what you need to do now? You need to like and subscribe down there. Or if you want extra content, might be down there, you need to go up here or up here and get more of that gear. Thanks for supporting Kickoffs and Kick-Ons, and we will see you very soon.